أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد إن نستكفي كتاب الله وخير الحديث محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثات بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم على بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب صدق الله العظيم. In this country and in the West, this is the time of the year where there are festivities, people are exchanging gifts. Generally there is a sense of happiness. And I thought that I would talk about happiness. For us as Muslims, we also have special times of the year where we are more happy than others. We get this fervor of Ramadan and we build inside of us this elation and this happiness that we can feel deep inside of us as Ramadan gets closer and closer to us. We also get happy when we're on our way to Umrah. We're like just this internal joy that, I'm going to be going to visit the sacred houses and, take the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm going to put my eyes on the Kaaba and visit the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's an internal happiness that comes with that. Hajj, again, all these, occasions that bring us happiness. So just like there's this fervor of happiness going around when people are exchanging gifts at workplace and everywhere. I thought I would talk about happiness because it's a very important subject. If you think about it, this is not applicable only to Muslims, this is applicable to every human being walking on two legs. We all want happiness. We all want to be happy, we all seek happiness, we all have plans, we make plans from when we're young, when we're a child, your concept of happiness is different. You get your candy, you get your toys, you go to the toy store, or now you go on Amazon. The 7-year-old or the 12-year-old, you can find happiness on the internet by shopping or by playing. But the type of happiness that I'm talking about, and inshallah plan to talk about today in my brief time, is true deep happiness beyond what we can get when we eat a piece of chocolate or buy ourselves that fancy car that we wanted to buy, or that big home, or that suit, or whatever it is. And that it's all halal. There's a lot of things that, in Islam, it's halal to enjoy your food and enjoy to seek happiness from these physical pleasures. We'll talk more about that. But the topic of my khutbah is a little deeper than that. I want to talk about true happiness, true peace that is at a different level, that we don't share with animals. In this day and age, not in the Muslims only, but generally, there's a concept that to be happy you need stuff. You need things. And they do bring short-term happiness. But you'll notice that the happiness that comes from things and stuff really isn't that deep, everlasting happiness. It's more a transient thing. And then it's fine too to look for those things. But what I'm talking about right now is this concept that you need, and if you ask the youth, and if you ask the millennials, what do you need to be happy? And there was a poll, and they answered him. They answered this poll by saying that the number one thing that brings us happiness is money. They believe, and many people believe, not just the millennials, it's time immemorial. But people believe that money, wealth, can bring you happiness. It's a common concept. And the other thing, number two, after wealth was status and fame. Being famous. Not just wealth, but being famous. So those are the top two things, and there was other things on the list. But the top two things were wealth and fame. So let's talk about happiness, and I want to elaborate and clarify that there are really two types of happiness. There really are two types. I mean, this is an oversimplification. One is physical happiness. Outward happiness, physical happiness. And we already briefly elaborated on those. The happiness that you get when you get something new, when you eat something delicious, you get happy, you enjoy it. And it's all chemical, by the way. You got dopamine release and all that stuff, and serotonin and dopamine, all those. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually has put these circuits in your brain. It's not like we're all a bunch of chemicals. We are chemicals. I mean, if you break it down, but subhanAllah, this is all the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put dopamine in our head. He put serotonin. These are chemicals. These are neurochemicals that He put to bring joy to us. I mean, this is His mechanism, So there's one type of happiness, that's physical happiness. And we talked about that. But we as humans, and we share this physical happiness with animals. Animals get happy when they eat too. They have procreation. They can also multiply and have partners and all of that. They find joy in that too. But there's a happiness that humans have that we don't share with animals, and that is the higher level of happiness I'm talking about. And that is the focus of this khutbah, is this deeper, higher level of true peace and happiness that we need to look for and we need to seek. And in fact, the people who are looking for happiness in wealth and fame are actually trying to fill that space that's inside of them that cannot be filled with wealth and fame. And that is that deep, true happiness that can only be filled by nearness to your Rabb, by nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by nearness to your Creator. That higher level of happiness, the happiness of the heart and the happiness of the soul. So as if you look at these people who have achieved a lot of wealth and fame, a lot of them are miserable. I mean, we can talk all day about that. And examples are abound of how these very wealthy people, and in fact, I think I might have even spoken about this way back in one of my khutbahs about these people who got together a long time ago were one of the richest people on earth, and they looked at them and followed them. These were the top 10 rich people. And I don't remember the details, but they followed their lives and they saw that most of them had miserable endings. Most of them had miserable endings, including suicide, including a lot of terrible tragedies. And they were the richest people. And we know, I don't have to convince you that money doesn't buy happiness. It can help in certain ways, and of course, we know that. But if money was a source of happiness, and fame and glory was a source of happiness, we'd be seeing success stories all over the world with these rich people, and they would not be committing suicide, and they would not be on drugs and alcohol like is happening. A lot of these rich, famous people end up going on drugs and alcohol because they can't fill that void that you can fill and only fill with closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's something inside of us that needs to be filled, and nothing can fill it except from the nearness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah bi dhikrillah tatma'innul qulub. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us, verily only in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find peace. So what are some of the stumbling blocks to finding true inner happiness, true inner peace? The first major stumbling block for all of us. I'm talking especially, because I'm standing here in front of the gathering of my brothers and sisters, talking about Muslims. But, you can talk about humans in general. You can apply this to other monotheistic religions as well. Is that one of the big stumbling blocks is what we can call distractions. And by distractions, let me elaborate. I mean that things that are in front of us, that we can see, feel, touch, experience, they distract us. And if you get caught up in the physical world, you can get very distracted. And what do I mean by that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it clear to us that, in fact, He opens the Quran by Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. So this is a fundamental part of the life and being of us Muslims, that we believe in the unseen. So when we get caught in the seen, to the extent that the unseen, which is more real in reality, the unseen is more real than the seen. And how do we transition from understanding that the unseen is truly more real than the seen is by taking care of our hearts. So the distraction that I'm talking about is what comes in front of us all the time, which is our goals in life, our toys that we're trying to get to, our jobs. This is all distractions, and these come in the way. We get so caught in the real, in the seen, in what can be felt and experienced, that we tend to get distracted and oblivious of the unseen, and we go into this ghafla, which is the sicknesses of the heart. So this is one of the stumbling blocks, is we get caught in the seen, in the physically experiencing world, and then we tend to forget about what is truly real, the unseen. We cannot see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but He is the real, the only real with a capital R. Everything is contingent upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the real. He is the samad. He is without need. We are all contingent. In a way, we are the unreal. We are completely funny, contingent on Him. We cannot see the angels, but we have to believe in them. In fact, it is said that if you're in a gathering of dhikr, and this is in a way a gathering of dhikr, because I am talking about our deen, and we are told that the angels are among us, and they fill the space between the earth and the heavens. Can we see them? Can anybody see angels here? No. But they are totally real, but they are the unseen. So we have to cultivate this faculty of connecting with the unseen to be able to achieve that level of true happiness, because the seen, the physical seen, is a stumbling block. So how do we achieve, and we'll talk about other stumbling blocks as well, so how do we achieve this status of going from being distracted by the physical world and being in a state that you're in constant connection with the unseen?